Yo, yo, what's good, y'all? Damelocks, you know what I'm saying? Back like I ain't leave, for real, for real. I'm watching this new Black Panther. Um, it's basically the comic. If y'all don't know about Comicstorian, he basically make it feel like you're reading a comic, but you also watching a story, like a TV show. Like he hard. Like these niggas, they them over there, many of them, all of them, they nice, bro. I ain't gonna lie. They be doing their thing on that side. I ain't gonna lie. What's up? We gonna just tap in and see what they talking about, cause like they made the new Ultimate Universe, and I tuned into Spider Man's new comic. You know my son, Family Man, all that John. It's kind of clean. I'm just kind of curious what they did with Black Panther for real, for real. Although like I ain't even too like I don't know too much about his comics other than like the basics, like like what you should know if you know a little about comics and you know about characters. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna lock in and see what this man's talking about. Word. See what these boys talking about. Word.
Trucking forward, and today we're going to introduce you to a brand new Black Panther, the ultimate Black Panther. This is Comicstorian. I take comic books, turn them into audio drama so that you know what's going on in the world of comics. This way you know what to add to your collection, and I highly recommend this one. If you want to know how the new Ultimate Universe got started, I'll link that video down below, but let's not waste any more of your time, dear viewer. Let's get into it. Somewhere in West Africa, villagers are working the mines under the hot sun, but suddenly there is a blast of energy vaporizing several of the workers. The remaining look up in shock as armored troopers rush towards them, directed by two men in black and white suits. "In our name, we claim this land," the men say in unison. Nearby, two warriors watch in astonishment, one preparing to act and the other staying with his hand. "No, brother, we cannot act. We will bring the truth of this to our king," one whispers. They slip away into the trees, promising to bring word of the anger of Ra and Khonshu, leaving behind a burning village and crying children.
Look at those guys.
Soon, they will know the justice of Wakanda, the warriors promise. In his tower, T'Challa sits up suddenly in his bed, sweat beading on his forehead. "Nightmare, my king?" Okoye asks from her own bed. T'Challa smiles at his wife, telling her that there's no need for such traditions, for they are equals in his eyes. But Okoye shakes her head. "Not in tradition, not in the eyes of the people. You are my king, and I am your wife, and I serve your throne," she tells him. T'Challa nods, getting up, walking quietly to the window and looking out over the shining capital of Wakanda. "Yes, traditions must change." Later, T'Challa arrives at the ancient library of Wakanda, greeting his father, T'Chaka. The former king.
In this verse?
"Son, it's early. Are you still plagued with dreams?" T'Chaka asks. T'Challa nods, but then waves them off as nothing more than dreams. But T'Chaka shakes his head, offering that it may be the gods speaking to them. "Perhaps you are plagued because you will not listen," T'Chaka says. And he suggests that T'Challa seek counsel from the mother of the Vondu Khan. T'Challa sighs, unhappy with speaking of this again with his father. "She wants my servitude. To her signs and her portents, I do not trust them or their ways. The power lies in superstition, in fear. Wakanda should be free of the Vunda Khan," T'Challa says, once again wishing to move away from the superstitious nature of Wakanda's past. But T'Chaka disagrees, believing that the king should still heed the words of the Vunda Khan, if for no other reason than to find their true motives. "Keep them close while you decide their fate. One should only know that they are an enemy to the king after they have been destroyed," T'Chaka says. That evening, T'Challa travels to the temple of the Vunda Khan. It's here that he is given audience with the matron of the order. Standing in the main chamber of the temple, the robed woman smiles at T'Challa and his doubts of her order. "Since
They
the
always
birth
got
of
some
Wakanda,
blind
the
seer,
Vunda Khan
bro.
have served this kingdom and all of its kings. Our connection to the gods is yours. Allow me to prove that by offering you counsel, my king," she tells him. And then she goes on telling him that his dreams are a warning from the gods, that he should be wary of enemies within the walls of Wakanda. But T'Challa shakes his head, refusing to rule in fear of his own people. Do not choose fear, choose awareness, and we will be your eyes as well, the matron says. T'Challa watches her for a moment before finally looking away. Finally, he nods, thanking her for her wisdom. Later in the royal palace of Wakanda, T'Challa sits and listens to the two warriors report on the attacks on the village. After giving their report, they offer to gather warriors to retaliate against the soldiers, but T'Challa refuses. After they leave, Shuri, the leader...
Getting all your daily nutrients is hard work, but nutrition gaps in your diet are inevitable.
of the Dora Milaje turns to her brother. People are dying, T'Challa, and you want to do nothing? She asks in disbelief, but T'Challa shakes his head and stands, refusing to reveal Wakanda to the world for an act of war. We're going to need information, reconnaissance. We need to know what they want and a why. Once we know that, then we can consider war, T'Challa says, and Okoye offers her support for the king, believing that he speaks true. Shuri still isn't happy, though, turning away. I understand, my king and queen, she says, walking out of the room in a huff. When they are alone, T'Challa thanks his queen for her support. Don't thank me. You were right. And if you weren't, I would have spoken differently, she says before turning and leaving.
Black Panther
I do not envy you, my king. Today, your crown is heavy. Elsewhere in West Africa, a young boy stands on the beach of his village, playing with a soccer ball. He kicks the ball away and looks up in surprise as it bounces against the armored foot of a soldier. The soldiers gather, raising their weapons to the boy, preparing to fire. In our master's names, the soldiers state, and the boy closes his eyes as he awaits his death. But blood splashes on his face, even though no shot is fired. He opens his eyes in surprise to find a warrior with a panther mask standing before him, and the soldiers all lying dead. Hide, more are coming, Killmonger hisses. The boy turns running, and Killmonger turns as a combat hero hovers over him, preparing to fire its weapons. My love, bless them. Killmonger hisses, lightning cracking from the sky, hitting the vehicle and ripping through it. More soldiers rush the mighty warrior, but he throws his combat axe. More lightning bursts through the air, igniting the weapon as it slices through the moon soldiers. The battle ends as quickly as it began. People of this village, Killmonger shouts as the villages gather. Your gods and hidden kingdoms will not protect you, but Killmonger and the Wind Rider will. The mighty warrior shouts. That night, in the capital of Wakanda, the people celebrate the Day of Life. T'Challa stands over his people, speaking to them as they cheer, his father sitting on the throne behind him. But as T'Challa continues to give his speech, the robed servants next to his father suddenly pull away their robes. For Khonshu! For Ra! They bellow, activating the bombs on their vests. T'Chaka moves too fast for his age, pushing his son off the platform moments before the bombs detonate.
Yo,
as T'Challa plummets
always
to the
getting
earth,
blown up,
he
bro.
watches in surprise as the platform explodes above him. He activates the Black Panther armor, landing safely on the ground below. And as the platform plummets above him, he stares in shock at his father's body. Wakandan warriors rush to his side, making sure that their king is safe. And as the fire burns around him, T'Challa turns to his people. Call the queen. Call my sister. Call the Vondu Khan. Our enemies call themselves Moon Knight. Wakanda is at war, he says triumphantly.
Man, they going to war with Khonshu?
That brings us to the conclusion of Black Panther issue number 1 in this brand new Ultimate Universe. Again, click down below to see how the brand new Ultimate Universe got started. And also, don't forget to check out Ultimate Spider-Man.
Nah, word. Y'all watch Ultimate Spider-Man. It's fake a lit comic. I'm not gonna hold y'all. I might look at it later with y'all, but I already fake started it, so I don't know. You know, like I was gonna do Black Panther because it's like I started and we could see what they talking about. But this was cool or whatever. I'm trying to figure out if he about to go to war with Khonshu. Like, how's he going to war with Moonlight? Aren't they like sister gods or whatever the case is? Let me chat like I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, boys. I'm going. Thanks.